Hello, welcome to Psychologies. I'm Ted Bradshaw, Cognitive Behavioural Therapist and coach with Barefoot Coaching. I'm also the creator of this program, which is How to Manage Your Anxiety and Thrive, a short coaching program. This is session number 4 out of 4, and in this short coaching video, we're going to talk about behaviours within anxiety, how to choose what helps you and what doesn't. That's what we're going to talk about today. If you want to check out sessions 1, 2 and 3, then please check out the Psychologies website. You can subscribe to get hold of a full course, including weekly journal workbooks, in order to get in-depth coaching. You can subscribe via the link in the caption for this video. If you're already a subscriber, head up to the Life Leap Club page on the Psychologies website to register or sign in. So today we're going to talk about behaviours, so things you do to manage your anxiety. We're going to talk about some of the things that help and some of the things that don't. In session 1, we spoke about trying to understand what happens when you get anxious, part of which is trying to note down the kinds of things that you do when you feel anxious. Broadly speaking, these fall into 2 categories. There is a third that we'll talk about shortly, but broadly speaking, when we get anxious, all your body wants you to do is get rid of that anxiety in some way. So the first thing your body will look for and your mind will look for is, how do we solve the problem? How do we deal with the thing that I'm anxious about? For example, if you're afraid of dogs and there is a dog in the room, your brain wants you to get away. So it wants you to solve the problem of the dog. How can I put a barrier in the way, or how can I leave? If it's something less obvious than that, so if it's worrying about not having finished everything, or worrying about having made a mistake. So let's say you worry a lot about making a mistake in your work. Your body wants an answer. Your mind will want an answer to that question in order for your body to relax. So perhaps what you'll do is you'll just go back and read what you did. And if you can read it enough to convince yourself that you didn't make any mistakes, then you'll be okay. Another classic example is if you're driving away from your house, not likely at the moment, but you know what I mean. If you're leaving the house and you think, I wonder if I left the cooker on. I wonder if I left the oven on. All your brain is telling you to do at that point is go back and check. And once you've checked, you've solved the problem. So I go back, I check, I see that it's not there, great. And that's all fine until the thought pops into your head again. And then you've got to go and do the same thing again. You've got to go and check again, or whatever it might be. So typically the kinds of behaviours that fall into this is checking, seeking reassurance from other people. So do you think I left the oven on? Do you think it's okay? Or if you're worrying about your health, do you think this headache is something more serious? And we tend to ask people that aren't doctors, like our partners, that kind of thing. Some things don't really have an answer, and I can never really get 100%. Health is a great example. Is my headache representing something worse? I can go to the doctor and they can say, nah, it's just a headache, but there is always that little bit of doubt. And when we're faced with doubt, when we're trying to convince ourselves that we haven't done anything wrong, or that there isn't something going to happen, but it's not making my anxiety go away because I haven't got a 100% answer yet. The second thing that we do is we distract ourselves. So we get rid of the anxiety in a way that just deadens it. So having a drink, that'll solve it, short term. Distracting yourself by, I was about to try and find my phone, but I'm recording on my phone, so you know what I mean. Scrolling through your phone, scrolling through Facebook, it's basically just switching your entire brain off. Not in a particularly positive way, just while I'm doing it, I feel nothing. I feel nothing at all. So TV, reading to some degree, flicking through your phone, just mindless stuff that entirely takes your mind off things. Gambling, online gambling tends to be very effective. Now, this brings us to, what's the cost of these behaviours? Because they work in the short term. Great example again is, what if you're somebody that worries about getting everything finished? Usually what you'll try and do is get everything finished, which is fine, unless you have too much to do, in which case you will grind yourself into the ground. So the third option, the thing that I'm going to encourage you to think about is, if you didn't feel anxious, if you were confident everything would work out, what would you be doing? Or if you knew that you were going to feel a bit anxious no matter what you did, how would you want to live your life? It's partly the reason I'm wearing this shirt, and I want to just tell you a little story about this before I finish. Part of the reason I'm wearing this shirt, which is different to the last 3 videos, is that one of the things that I worry about is people judging me, is making a fool of myself, being laughed at. I wasn't even aware that one of the things that I was doing was avoiding wearing anything that was even remotely risky. And somebody, a wise person, pointed this out to me once, and I thought, I don't want to be that guy anymore. I don't want to live my life only wearing blue shirts for the rest of my life. I want to be somebody that wears colour. So I went out and bought myself some shirts. And now my job is to intentionally make myself feel more anxious by wearing things that make me feel anxious, but that I know are things that I want to wear. And that's kind of the principle we're talking about here, is often doing the things that are right for you might make you feel more anxious in the short term. And that's what today's workbook is going to be asking you about. What are the things that you do to manage your anxiety? What are the things you avoid? And what are the things that would make you feel like you're living your life well? Best of luck with it. I hope it goes well. Thank you for going along with all these 4 sessions. I hope they've been useful.